One of my greatest purposes in life was to convince my angel wife that she needed to marry me. And this has become one of my greatest blessings, greatest joys in this life. Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson. And the truth is, there was a point when I wasn't sure this was going to really happen. Now, tonight, I want to talk to you about finding your life purpose. And this purpose, of course, can change. Like I said, at one point, I wasn't sure that my sweet wife was going to marry me. In fact, she was trying to make a decision whether she was going to marry me or follow another path that had been given to her. And I promised her that I would support her in whatever decision she made. That being said, I was tested because she actually came to me and said, I've decided that I'm going to follow this other path, and was basically breaking up with me. And I started to want to argue with her. And then I remembered that thought in my mind that I said, I promised her that I would support whatever decision she made. And so I asked to be excused, and I went and walked out and got in my car and drove away. And I shouldn't admit this, but the truth is, I cried to God, says, I don't understand. I know that I want to marry this woman. I know that this is the possibility of being one of the greatest blessings in my life. I need to understand. I need to have the strength so that when I go back, I don't argue with her. I don't try to convince her that she's wrong, and I support her in her decision. So long story short, I actually was able to go back, and I actually supported her in that decision, and asked her what it meant. She says, okay, so you're moving forward with this. Great. Can I still date you right now? Because she wasn't leaving yet. And she said, yes. Can I still hold your hand? And she said, yes. And so basically what it told me is that nothing had changed. And so I continued to move forward, and I continued to fight for that great blessing that I was seeking for. So in getting your life purpose, there are really three pieces to this puzzle to help you get there. The first is desire. The second is destiny. And the third is decision. So let me go a little bit more in depth in these. And I may even be able to correlate it a little bit with this story I just told you. Desire. The word desire means to give birth to. Literally means to give birth to. And a lot of times it's described as emotion of longing for. And so the question is, what would you do to accomplish this task? In the process of working to convince, for lack of a better way of saying it, my sweet wife that she should marry me, I needed to spend more time with her. I needed to find ways to study her and help her really feel the love that I had for her. I had to desire, had to have such a strong desire for it that I was willing to fight for it. Number two is destiny. And really what that comes down to is, where do you want to go? The story I always think about with this is the Cheshire Cat. Alice was in Wonderland, and she was actually trying to figure out where to go. She was walking down the path, and she came to a path that had two directions. She could go either way. And she was commenting to herself, well, which direction should I go? And the Cheshire Cat said, well, this direction is very good, but if you would like, you can also go this direction. And she goes, well, which direction should I choose? And the Cheshire Cat asked her, where do you want to go? And she goes, it doesn't really matter. Then the Cheshire Cat, of course, said, well, then it doesn't matter which path you take if you don't know where you want to go. So the truth is, to really have a life's purpose, to really find that purpose, you need to know where you're going, where you're headed, before you can actually really design a purpose. You have to have desire for something that's really, really important to you, that you're willing to fight for. You need to have a direction that you're going so that you can actually move towards that. And third is decision. And decision, by definition, means to cut off from. So basically, you're eliminating all other options. Uh, the best story for this is Captain Herman Cortez in 1519, when he landed in Veracruz. As they were all getting off their boats, he told all his men to burn the ships, to burn the boats, so that the whole idea here was they only had one choice. They couldn't retreat. They couldn't go away. They had to win. They had to accomplish their task or die. That was their only option. They literally had to accomplish it, or they could not ever go home. And so you need to get to the point where you're saying, okay, this purpose is something that I really strongly desire. This purpose is something that I'm going in the right direction to get to. And this is something that I'm going to eliminate all distractions, eliminate all things that are going to keep me from doing it, and make the true decision that that's where I'm going. So if you will actually truly say that I've got the desire and the destiny and the decision to go for that purpose, then you really understand what your purpose is. It's important that you have all three. If you only have one, two, or two of these, you're not going to ultimately have a strong enough purpose that's going to help you become who you want to be. It's not going to help you reach your goals, live your dream, and truly enjoy the extraordinary life that you were born to live. This is Dr. Brandt Gibson, and thank you. Let's help you really find